Hey guys, Dave here. Okay, we're getting ready for Supergirl, The Flash, and Arrow to come back this week. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to miss the premiere of The Flash due to working my day job, or be more like a night job this time, but I'll get to see it Wednesday. However, to get people in the mood for DC goodness, I thought I'd run down a couple interesting characters that I would like to see go from the comic books into one of the shows of the DC Universe. Imagine somebody that has two interesting sets of powers. One, that effectively they have an immeasurable amount of extra lives. You can kill them, whatever, but you know they're going to come back. And what's more, every time they come back, they'll manifest new superpowers. Random, different every time. That actually covers not one, but two interesting characters in DC. The first is a guy named Multi-Man. He was a skeezy archaeologist who was on a dig with a guy trying to find something called liquid light. And eventually he found it. And apparently the formula is that whenever you drink it, it bestows the person an extra set of lives, and with each life, a different power. So he started developing superpowers, and he was actually an enemy of the group called the Challengers of the Unknown. They were all adventurers back in the 60s. But they didn't have any powers, but because of the accident that brought them together, they thought they were living on borrowed time, which kind of sounds like that'd be perfect for a villain for Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, think about it. You're fighting somebody, and even if you are a lethal hero or someone like Heatwave, who isn't afraid to use lethal force, you kill this person. Not only do they get right back up, but now their powers have changed. This could be quite dangerous and quite potentially a season-long bad guy if done properly. Now, Multi-Man's been both a serious as well as a joke character. For a while, he started becoming physically more weak and frail, but his brain started to get enlarging to adapt to intelligence and essentially getting smarter that way. But he still had the ability that if he died or was killed, he'd get new powers. In one brutal comic, the Joker actually escaped from a maximum security prison by repeatedly killing Multi-Man over and over again until he developed a power that would be useful to the Joker to escape. It's kind of frightening. Multi-Man also, unfortunately, suffered a lot of mood swings because his body chemistry kept changing. So did his. Well, he was bipolar at times. He'd be depressed. He'd be manic. He'd be depressive. It was really kind of weird. I mean, for a short time, he actually was a hero for the short-lived group Justice League Antarctica. This is actually something that happened. But as I was saying, there's also another hero that has a similar set of powers named Resurrection Man. It's a guy named Mitch Shelley who was injected with something called Tektites. Basically, they're a type of organic nanotech that effectively, every time he's killed, it will take matter or stuff from the surrounding area, take whatever it is that killed him, and grant him new powers. He never knows what he'll be able to do. Sometimes the powers are going to be useful. Other times they're not going to be so much so. But if he rolls the dice properly, his powers could become immensely great. As a matter of fact, during the DC 1 million storyline, heroes from the 853rd century actually came back in time to the modern time to see Superman, and actually waiting for the return of Superman Prime, who was our Superman, but he lived all the way until the 853rd century. At this point, he was practically like a god. Well, Resurrection Man was actually the guardian of his new Fortress of Solitude, which was in the sun itself. Now, at that point, Resurrection Man had a device that had the most lethal creature in the universe. Effectively, he could select powers at will, activate his wristband. It would kill him instantly, and he would automatically come back with new powers. For a while, he had it set for the de facto powers of super strength and flight. That way he could change up to invulnerability or energy blasts. He was actually a long-standing enemy of Vandal Savage, and he was fighting all the way into the 853rd century. Eventually, he came to a horrible end when Savage hacked into his killer device and figured that if he can't kill Resurrection Man permanently, he'll just keep killing him forever. So he had to just killing him over and over and over again. And heroes like and villains like this could be quite potentially great. Think about Multi-Man making his first appearance on Arrow and facing someone like Wild Dog who kills him, but then he gets right back up. Imagine having to face someone like the Flash who refuses to kill, but then he ends up killing himself, and every time he comes back, new powers. Or Resurrection Man could make an interesting roll of the dice as a character on Legends of Tomorrow. Heck, Multi-Man could even be a villain for Legends of Tomorrow, requiring someone like Multi-Man to try to keep up. What do you guys think? Do you think these characters could be interesting enough to be added to the DC shows? Maybe even Black Lightning might introduce one of them when he comes on. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.